My youngest son was a smart kid that got into a near fatal car accident back when he was 16, and they give him, for his pain, they give him oxycodone and Vicodin and Percocet and all these different very addictive drugs, and he fought it for 11 years, and unfortunately he didn't make it. And I'll be honest with you, I can't believe he made it as long as he did, but he was a fighter, good kid, life of the party, and I miss him, but he's in a better place now. He is.
Unfortunately, my son passed away from a heroin overdose in 2010. And we thought we did everything we could possibly do for that kid to get him on the right path. Not being educated on substance abuse disorders, I thought I was doing the right thing most of the time. Well, I wasn't doing anything right, to tell you the truth. I was coming up with the money to send him to rehab, and I thought they would take care of the problem. And geez, we've spent all this money on 30-day stays, and you're still failing 3 times. You've overdosed 3 times. What is going on? He said, Dad, you just don't understand the power of this drug.
Well, I see where the rubber hits the road. I mean, being a circuit judge, I handle 1/3 of all the felony cases in Jackson County. A very large percentage of those cases involve heroin cases with fentanyl, obviously meth, other hard drugs, but we're seeing an absolute huge surge in heroin cases, specifically spiked with fentanyl, and we're seeing deaths on almost a daily basis. It's kind of neat in a place like Jackson that we have something that's just state of the art for globally dealing with people with addiction issues. Because in the end, even as a judge, and I'm a tough law and order judge, but I recognize that people that have addictions are a lot of them are really good people, and they're just people that have fallen into a downward spiral, kind of into a dark place that, if you can get them the kind of help and support they need, they can get rehabilitated. And the goals of sentencing are to punish, to deter, to protect the public, and to rehabilitate. And a lot of times in those drug cases, possession charge to me, the goal, what can I do to help this person get rehabilitated? Well, I'll tell you, sending them to a program like this where they can have stable housing, they can be safe, they can be secure. They can get counseling, they can get support, they can have protection for their kids, they can work in their issues. That's gonna go a long way towards making them successful in the criminal justice system.
We gotta build something so we can give the people the opportunity for their brain to heal. Because what we've been doing is this. When somebody's got cancer and they say you need 12 chemotherapy treatments, but we're only going to give you 3, your cancer comes back. We're doing the same thing with addiction. We're only giving them 2 or 3 months and then expect them to be out there in the real world on their own and go into their outpatient treatment. It's not going to work. Statistics prove it didn't work. How can we get these people the things they need to know so they can properly use all these government programs, not to just get by, not to get to the next month, not to pay next month's rent, but to actually propel them into the future to that job they always wanted, that house, the car they always wanted, the wife, the kids, the dog, the whole works. It's perfectly possible. But you got to give them a little path to go down.
I think that what Jackson needs and what the country needs is more places like this where people can come and their minds can heal. I mean, they need like a year to 2 years, and now the facilities, until this place was built, like maybe at the max 90 days, My son never got in a facility that treatment centers that were more than 60 days.
The really great thing for me is that this kind of facility is gonna make that kind of crawl out of that hole a lot easier for people in Jackson. And I think it's just great that a community like Jackson can have a program like this. Because believe it or not, there's a lot of success stories. People want to focus a lot on the failures of the criminal justice system, but there's a lot of success stories too. I like to think about those success stories, and especially in the area of there's a lot. And the good news for Jackson, I think we're going to have a lot more of them.
It's sad because he was such a great kid, and there's a lot of good kids, and they're not, You know, they're not bad people. They're just out there, you know, trying to support their drug habit, and that's what gets them into trouble. You know, that's why they go see the judge. You know, so. But I miss him, man. He was a great kid.
3 days before he passed away, we were talking out in the woods at our house, and sitting on a rock, and he says, "Dad," he said, "I just don't think I have a purpose in life." I said, "Well, of course you have a purpose in life, Andy. Everybody's got a purpose in life." He said, "I don't think I have one." He said, "What's mine, Dad?" I said, I don't know. Maybe you haven't fulfilled it yet. I don't know, but everybody has a purpose." He said, "No, I just don't. I'm nothing but a burden on you and Mom and the rest of the family. I've done all these things that, I'm just." He's so embarrassed about his lifestyle, the whole works. And I said, I didn't have a snappy answer for him, which I usually have a snappy answer, and I didn't have one come back. He died 3 days later. So I always like to say now that his purpose wasn't to live a long life. It was a short, wonderful life. His death was really tragic, and through that tragedy, it inspired the community of Grass Lake. It inspired the community of Jackson. Now we're inspiring the state of Michigan, and now we're branching out to inspire the rest of the country. So you want to ask what his purpose was? Pretty big purpose.